faster, more powerful, and has an edgy new look. And now, finally, we're in the USA to drive the all-new 7th generation Mustang on road and track. But it's a bittersweet launch of sorts because, well, this could be the last of the V8s. Does that make it more desirable, being the last of that V8 bloodline? Have your say in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, giddy up.
The new 7th generation Mustang will arrive in Australia in early 2024 in 3 guises: the 4-cylinder HP Fastback, V8 GT Fastback, and this, the hardcore, track-ready Dark Horse. Pricing hasn't been confirmed yet, but it's safe to say it will be more expensive.
Power for the new Mustang comes from this 4th generation updated 5-litre Coyote V8, and it drives the rear wheels, of course. It's got line locker burnout mode, there's also launch control, and who could forget the all-new drift brake.
This Dark Horse gets more power than the 358 kilowatt GT model, and all models get a Torsen-style limited slip rear diff.
A dual air intake that sucks the air through these sections here into the twin airboxes is new for this engine, as are new dual throttle bodies. Now that's for all models with the V8, including the GT, but this Dark Horse gets extra fine tuning for a little bit more pepper.
Forged engine internals, including stronger connecting rods, are borrowed from the GT500 Mustang, and there's a new crankshaft along with updated intake and exhaust manifolds.
The cooling systems have been upgraded, and these bonnet vents are actually functional. So they're sucking out the hot air in the engine bay, improving thermal dynamics, and ultimately this is the most powerful naturally aspirated 5-litre Coyote V8 Ford has ever put in a Mustang. So the Dark Horse model looks plenty aggressive. You've got Dark Horse badges on the front flanks, also on the back. You've got the more aggressive rear spoiler and diffuser, and this blue ember paint job. It looks pretty cool. I like it.
This track attack model has been engineered to withstand more punishment more regularly, with improved 6-piston Brembo brakes up front, complete with Napa brake cooling ducts.
If you really want to go nuts, there's the handling pack, which adds stiffer springs, thicker anti-roll bars, and these very sticky Pirelli P0 Trofeo RS tyres. They're also wider. These are 305s at the front. They're pretty big. Only problem is Ford Australia is not importing this themselves. However, it will be coming here through the aftermarket with a bit of help from Herod. There's also carbon fibre wheels that you can get as an option, and they could cost up to $15,000 in Australia. The irony is, they're built by an Aussie company, Carbon Revolution, and they probably would find favour in Australia, but the chances of them coming here are pretty low. What will they do? They'll basically reduce unsprung weight, so it'll turn better, accelerate better. It'll pretty much improve most performance parameters. The cabin of the new Mustang has pros and cons. Sure, the digital playground has pretty much doubled in size and quality has improved, but there's not much of a connection with previous Mustangs. This could be pretty much any sports car if it wasn't for these ponies dotted around.
For the most part, however, it's pros. Better detailing, more features and finer finishes. The cabin has a much more upmarket feel than before, with higher quality materials throughout.
These Recaro seats are equal parts supportive and comfortable. They've got loads of bolstering. Yes, they're manually adjusted, but you can adjust them quite quickly because of that. But they will be optional, and we don't know how much they'll be yet. And again, these screens are pretty impressive. You've got 12.4 inches here, 13.2 inches here, and they make a big impression. And I like how they're kind of angled towards the driver too. The smoky burnout mode and launch control return for the Mustang. This is a genuine muscle car, but it's got a new trick up its sleeve. You hit the track mode, you hit drift brake, and the handbrake becomes a drift brake. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Is it going to be easy to control? Is it not? We haven't used it yet, and I don't think they're going to let us use it even on the track, which is a shame, but let's see how we go. Now, speaking of control, let's take this for a spin out on the road. Cue the music. The new Mustang is like pizza or free time. Even when it's not great, it's really quite moreish. And I'm not saying this is garbage, far from it. I actually really enjoy it. The first taste, the first impression, they've done a really good job. And for me, the thing that really stands out on this first drive is the steering. They've done a lot of work on it. It's got a new steering rack and there's a bit more weight to it, and that connection between car and driver is much improved because of it.
This is because it has a new steering rack with a faster ratio and a stiffer steering shaft than the last one. Sure, it carries over a fair whack of the last generation's underpinnings and powertrain, but the Dark Horse feels seriously beefy with tremendous acceleration and crisp response from the enhanced engine. The manual shift feel in the Tremec TR3160 is really satisfying, and minor tweaks to the 10-speed automatic make it a little more responsive. But it also exhibited a few hiccups and sometimes got flustered hunting for the right gear.
Ford has tweaked the suspension to improve handling and response, and on the road it is a much improved vehicle. The front end feels more settled, it's got more resolve, and it gives the driver more confidence. The way it tips into corners is much sharper and more immediate, and there's almost a little bit more feel as well. Look, ride comfort probably suffers a little bit because of it. This is a bit firmer than its predecessor, but I think overall the changes are definitely for the better of this car.
The road-legal Dark Horse forms the basis for the track-only Dark Horse R and Mustang GT4 race cars, and this motorsport connection is evident the moment you hit the track. It's more confident and stoic at the limit now, and doesn't wilt under pressure either. It's a robust circuit warrior, and once again, the steering and front end tweaks make it seriously engaging. The way it tracks through corners is convincing, but the car can be playful and lively if you want it to be, all too happy to wag the tail in track mode. Is it a proper track car? Yes, it is. You can flat shift, which is seriously impressive, and the engine is an absolute ripper at full tilt. The new Mustang is still a muscle car in the traditional sense, but one that evolves the breed and will appeal to a wider range of drivers, not just retired car buffs.
And if this is the last hurrah for a V8 engine in a Mustang, then this early taste test suggests it's a fitting send-off. More appealing than ever? You better believe it.